and welcome to the 70th episode of Jazzology, presented by Savage Content. I'm your host, Willard Jenkins. We are here alternating Fridays, giving two jazz fans the opportunity to compete against each other for a chance to win $100. Each contestant will be asked a question worth 2 points. If they're unable to answer correctly, their opponent will have a chance to steal the question for 1 point. We'll ask 10 questions, and at the end of the 10 questions, the person with the lowest score will get a bonus question for the opportunity to tie the score, no matter how far they're behind in the score. If they're successful, the game will go to sudden death. The person in the lead at the end of regulation will go first, and each contestant will take turns trying to answer the sudden death multiple choice question until we have a winner. And now let's meet this week's contestants for Jazzology episode number 70. Our returning champion for the 69th episode, our returning champion for the 70th episode of Jazzology is Ted Panken, an American jazz journalist and former jazz history professor who has written extensively for DownBeat, Jazziz, and Jazz Times, as well as the New York Times, the New York Daily News, and various other publications. Ted Panken has written over 500 liner notes. For more than 20 years, Ted broadcasted jazz and creative music for stations like WHPK-FM in Chicago and WKCR in New York. Ted Panken co-authored My Life in E-Flat, the autobiography of the great Phil Woods, for which he earned the 2021 Robert Palmer-Helen Oakley Dance Award for Writing from the Jazz Journalists Association, which honored Ted Panken with its Lifetime Achievement in Jazz Journalism Award in 2016. Since 2015, he has conducted several dozen public interviews in conjunction with the National Jazz Museum in Harlem. Many of his extensive interviews and articles are included in the 220 posts on Ted Panken's blog, Today is the Question.
Thank you, Willard. I have to cut that bio in half. It's embarrassing.
Our challenger for this episode is Nicole Zuraitis. Nicole is a Grammy-winning and 4-time Grammy-nominated jazz singer, songwriter, pianist, and arranger. New York-based bandleader and winner of the prestigious 2021 American Traditions Vocal Competition Gold Medal. With a heart as big as her remarkable voice, as the Jazz Police said, Nicole Zuraitis is a trailblazing artist who is redefining vocal jazz, earning her a place as one of the top artists and prolific songwriters to watch in jazz and beyond. And now let's get to today's Jazzology. And as our previous reigning champion, Ted Panken goes first. You ready, Ted?
Yes.
All right. Grammy-nominated saxophonist Lakeisha Benjamin made her first professional gig with which veteran bandleader? Would that be A, Clark Terry, B, Reggie Workman, C, Rashid Ali, D, Vanessa Rubin, or E, the David Murray Big Band?
Well, Willard, that's a very well-framed question because Lakeisha has played extensively and been close with three of those, with two of the other people on the list, apart from the person who I think is the correct answer, and actually with three of those people. So anyway, I'm not sure if she ever played with Vanessa Rubin. But it's not, in any event, the answer to this is not Vanessa Rubin. She's played a fair amount during the last decade with David Murray. I'm not sure if she was in a big band situation, but she did gigs with him, but not back in the late 90s when she was attending the High School of Performing Arts in Manhattan. Once she went to the New School, I think Reggie Workman was a major mentor for her, but not in high school again, which is when she did this first appearance. Reggie also was on her Coltrane record, the name of which is escaping me right now, that came out a few years ago. She had a good story about it. And she played a lot with Rashid Ali, even though it's not documented on record. Really a lot with him. And it was a very important experience for her. She actually spoke with him a few minutes before he passed away in his hotel room. But it's Clark Terry. She went on the road. She went to Switzerland with him as second alto. She had a very long profile about her for Jazziz. So
that is correct.
She has a great story around meeting Clark Terry the first time, but I'll share that another. You may even know it.
Benjamin's first professional gig as a young musician was with Clark Terry, indeed. So, Ted, that puts you up. And Nicole, it's your turn.
Ted, did you write the cliff notes for Lakeisha Benjamin too? That was unbelievable. Amazing.
When I write about someone, hopefully I still remember it even as I age. But,
that's amazing.
But all right, I'm ready. I've just written about it.
Yeah. All right, Nicole, you're up.
All right.
Nicole, the young vocalist Venetia Gould studied music on the university level where? Did Venetia Gould study music at the Manhattan School of Music, A, B, UCLA, C, Berklee College of Music, D, Rutgers, or E, none of the above?
So interesting. So Venetia is one of my favorite songwriters ever. An amazing voice on the scene. And my gut instinct is because she's so unique, she may not have come up through any jazz educational institution, maybe. Because she has a very unique voice that's all her own. So I'm going to have to go with none of the above. E?
That is incorrect. And Ted Panken with a chance to steal the point. Ted, the young vocalist Venetia Gould studied music on the university level where? Did she study at A, Manhattan School of Music, B, UCLA, C, Berklee College of Music, D, Rutgers, and E, none of the above has been eliminated?
I have no idea. I have no idea where she went to school. So I'm just going to try to use a process, not even a process of elimination, because I have no, I like her lyrics, as you said, but I've never really read anything about her background or listened to an interview with her. So, and I don't know why I'm making the selection I'm making, but somehow, and I'm probably completely misinformed, I'm going to say D, Rutgers.
That is incorrect. Venetia Gould went to one of the more obvious of those choices. She went to C, Berklee College of Music, where, amongst others, she was a student of Terry Lynn Carrington. So Venetia Gould went to Berklee College of Music. Ted, you're up next. Another origin question. Ted, the keyboard player, he plays the Hammond B3 organ, he plays the piano. Keyboard player Mike LeDunn is a native of what city? Is Mike LeDunn from A, Boston, B, Brooklyn, C, Jersey City, D, Providence, Rhode Island, or E, Bridgeport, Connecticut?
Well, thank you for that question. I know this too because I know something about Mike's background. He went to college at New England Conservatory, so he was in Boston for a while. I think he was at New England Conservatory. Well, if he sees this, he can say something about it on Facebook. I don't know if he ever moved to Brooklyn once he lived in New York, because I think he was able to get into a building that's where a lot of musicians live fairly early on. And when he got to New York, he was playing at with a lot of the older musicians, which gives him a certain distinction. Can't think of very many pianists today who started off playing with people like Roy Eldridge and the people who played at Jimmy Ryan's on 54th Street, the so-called mainstream musicians in their older years. But a lot of others too. It's not Brooklyn. It's not. And now I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop orating here and tell you where he's from. He's from Bridgeport. He grew up in Bridgeport, Connecticut. His father was a musician who owned a music store also, I believe. And I think so he was playing organ very early on as a kid, as well as piano.
So yeah, that is the correct answer. Keyboardist Mike LeDun is a native of Bridgeport, Connecticut. Nicole, your turn. Guitarist Bill Frisell's latest recording is titled Orchestras, and it's actually on the Blue Note label. It's titled Orchestras, where his band recorded in orchestral settings in part at which of the following festivals? Would that have been A, the Montreux Jazz Festival, B, the North Sea Jazz Festival, C, the Umbria Jazz Festival, D, the Montreal Jazz Festival, or E, the DC Jazz Festival?
Guitarist Bill Frisell's record was recorded at which one of these festivals?
It was actually recorded at two different festivals.
Okay.
One of which is a choice for this question.
I still feel like someone has a vendetta out against me having me on this show. That's my first thing,
Well, you volunteered.
when I was brushing up on my Bill Frisell recordings and where he recorded them yesterday. Okay, so let me talk this out. I have no freaking clue at all. But let's see. Where have I heard live recordings from? Montreal? No. DC? I don't know. I'm going to say A, Montreux. I don't freaking know. I have no idea.
Montreux? You said A?
Yes.
That's
so brutal.
Ted Panken with a chance to steal the question. Ted, guitarist Bill Frisell's latest recording is titled Orchestras on the Blue Note label. And his band recorded on that record in orchestral settings, in part at which of the following festivals? A, Montreux Jazz Festival has been eliminated. B, the North Sea Jazz Festival. C, the Umbria Jazz Festival. D, the Montreal Jazz Festival. Or E, the DC Jazz Festival?
It's an interesting question. I have seen I've seen the record and I have it, but I actually did not look at which festival it was recorded at. But having Bill Frisell with an orchestra seems to be the kind of project that I'd associate more with Umbria Jazz Festival, where sometimes there are residences and things like that. In 2008, I was at the Perugia Jazz Festival, my first time there, and Bill's trio with Kenny Wollesen and Tony Scher was there for 10 days, and Pat Martino's quartet was there for 10 days. So they were playing at different times of the day for the whole week in these 18th century theaters. It's pretty amazing, apart from all the other stuff that was there. But that was a trio. But it seems like it might be Umbria Jazz or Montreal or Montreux, but or Montreal, but and I don't really know, but based on the question you asked Nicole, I'm going to guess that it was at Montreal. Because I don't know, maybe you didn't know. Anyway, that's my guess, the Montreal Jazz Festival.
That's incorrect.
It's hard.
You had it right away. It was the Umbria Jazz Festival. He recorded that record in part with the 11-piece Umbria Jazz Orchestra.
Well, I outsmarted myself.
It indeed. You have a chance to get right on this next question. You ready, Ted? All right.
Mm-hmm.
Ted, the pianist, composer, and Harvard University professor Vijay Iyer, who has a degree in mathematics and physics, dig that, has a degree in mathematics and physics from Yale University. Vijay Iyer made some of his first professional performances with which of the following drummers? Was that A, Donald Bailey, B, Roy Haynes, C, Paul Motion, D, Andrew Cyril, or E, none of the above?
Well, after Vijay Iyer got his dual degrees at Yale, he went out to the Bay Area. I'm not sure if he lived in San Francisco or Oakland at Berkeley, but he was in the Bay Area, and he did a PhD either at Stanford or Berkeley. I actually read the thesis. It was about the kinetic, how the body responds in improvising, and what the neural aspects of it, at least according to his research. Then I wasn't smart enough to understand a lot of it, but I read it. So in the Bay Area, he was also playing music. While he was going for his PhD, he established himself as a professional musician and made the decision to become a musician. And living in the city at the time was Donald Bailey, who's A here, who played with a lot of the younger musicians in the San Francisco area. Well, I think Eddie Marshall was there at the time, but Donald Bailey, very well known for his distinctive style, playing with Jimmy Smith and people like that back in the day in the 60s. So I am going to say Donald Bailey from Vijay's days in the Bay Area.
All right. You said A, Donald Bailey?
A, Donald Bailey.
That is correct.
That's a new sound.
It's Donald Bailey.
It's pretty good, Willard.
I like that one.
This week, we're spotlighting No Regrets, the music and spirit of Billie Holiday, an in-depth 13-episode radio and live streaming series celebrating Billie Holiday's extraordinary musical legacy. The program explores her early life, groundbreaking singing style. No Regrets is produced by the award-winning producer Steve Robinson and written by yours truly. No Regrets is narrated by Rhonda Hamilton. The series features interviews with Angela Davis, Cassandra Wilson, Beth Roars, Andromeda Toure, Phil Shapp, and Morgenstern, Karen Allison, Renee Marie, and many others. All episodes of No Regrets, the music and spirit of Billie Holiday, are available to stream and can be accessed at savagecontent.com. That's savagecontent.com to stream the Billie Holiday 13-part documentary series, No Regrets. And we have a first-time contestant today, so we have to ask the inevitable question of Nicole. Nicole, how did you fall in love with jazz?
Oh, I love that question. Well, the first time I fell in love with jazz was I played the trombone in middle school, and I was a self-taught piano player. And then just the natural progression was to start playing in the middle school and the high school jazz band, trombone.
Mm-hmm.
And the band director said, would you ever consider singing up front? And he gave me So Many Stars to Learn. And then I had just done a shift at Dunkin' Donuts, and I had a $5 tip. So I went to Strawberries, the CD store in Torrington, Connecticut. And Ella Fitzgerald's Love Song highlight record was there in the sale rack. And I also recognized I've Got a Crush on You it was like one of the only songs that I recognized. And I was like, I can afford this. I'm going to buy this record. And so CD. So I bought the CD and just got completely hooked, absolutely hooked on Ella's voice, and then started to fall in love with instrumental jazz. You know, it's a long story, I guess, in a way, roundabout, but it just kind of found me naturally.
All right. Well, another person who fell in love with the music as a result of a trip to the record store. I can appreciate that.
Right?
Ted, you've answered this question previously, but we'll ask you. Ted, what was your favorite jazz recording of the year 2024?
I wish you hadn't asked me that. I don't do lists or top tens.
Well, let's just say, what was one of your favorite? What was something that really stood out in your ears?
Well, let me think about it. You know, it's interesting. I write a fair number of liner notes even still, and usually, and writing articles, and usually the music I pay the most attention to is the music I listen to the most, which is, and because, you know, CDs are so long, I don't always get a chance to listen to everything. But if I'm writing an article on someone or writing a liner note or something professional, then I listen multiple times and and I just assimilate the music more. So I think the way I'm going to answer this question is to try to figure out which of the, well, I could get into trouble for that too, which of the albums that I wrote liner notes for I liked the best. That could get me into trouble. So so let's see. Okay, I'm going to mention two recordings. One of them is a self-released CD by trumpeter Brian Lynch called 7x7x7. Mm-hmm. It's original music. It's a very interesting concept. It's modular. Pieces are in 7. You can move them around. But it's also has all of the harmonic subtlety and rhythmic power, that marks Brian Lynch's musical production over the years. It's won 2 Grammys on self-produced records and all this. It's with Craig Handy, Alex Wentz, who's the piano player on that record? Luis Perdomo, Boris Kozlov, and Kyle Snow, who's a young drummer from Chicago who went to Frost, where Brian Lynch teaches. The second one is Samara Joy's new recording, Portraits, with the septet that she's been touring the world with lately. I think it's a very bold record, pretty courageous. You know, she's trying to write new material and deal with material that from 60 years ago on fresh terms. It's like the zeitgeist has come around. One of the ballads on it, I can't remember the name of it, but the Barry Harris ballad was on a MPS trio record in 1972 that probably sold 2,000 copies. And here we are in 2024, and she's writing a wonderful lyric to the ballad, and people all over the world now through her, and Barry Harris's other students can know about that. There's a wonderful version of Mingus's reincarnation of a lovebird where she, anyway, I don't want to say any more, and I'm talking to a great singer as well. So you know more than I do about what she does. But in any event, those are the two recordings I'm going to mention right at this moment. But I liked a lot of what I heard that came out last year.
That leads us to our record of the week, and that is the current release from drummer Nasheet Waits. The record is called New York Love Letter, Bittersweet. It's on the Jimmy Cat's Giant Steps label. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's our record of the week. Drummer Nasheet Waits, New York Love Letter on the Giant Steps Arts label. Which brings us back to Nicole. Nicole, are you ready for your next question?
If I don't get any questions right, do I have to pay you guys $100? That's what I'm afraid of. Oh, God, I'm already reading it.
All right, Nicole. The David Murray Quartet that made the 2024 recording Francesca for the Intact label includes which of the following musicians? Would that be A, pianist Marilyn Crispell, B, bassist Luke Stewart, C, pianist Vijay Iyer, D, pianist Orrin Evans, or E, pianist Jason Moran? Which of those musicians performed with David Murray on his 2024 recording Francesca?
Well, can I phone a friend? So anxious. David Murray. Francesca. Well, what's Francesca about? Or
It's about his wife.
okay. Okay. I'm gonna rule out. Pretty good. It's not VJ because we already talked about VJ. Unless this is a trick question, in which case I would. What's the guy's name again? David Murray. Okay, I have no idea. Let's see. Okay, so Jason, David. I don't even know what David Murray plays. Am I getting canceled by saying this? Yeah, probably. I have no idea. David Murray, I can't wait to listen. I'm sure it's fantastic. Francesca's a very lucky woman. So I'm going to go with, I don't even know, either E or B. Jason or... I don't know either. So I'll say Francesca, talk to me in my brain. Luke? B Luke? I don't know.
You've made an accurate guess. And Francesca, I have to admit to you, one of the keys to that question is, if you'll notice, everyone else is a piano player.
Yeah, exactly.
Stewart, the bassist, is the only non-piano player amongst that list of possibilities. So yes,
that's a good point.
Luke Stewart is a member of David Murray's quartet.
Montez Sanchez played piano on the record, right? Willard, am I right about that?
Yes, she did. Indeed. All right, Ted, you're up next. And Nicole is catching up.
Nicole's about to run outside and flee.
Nicole, you do get a bonus question. You can
so I've been
even
told.
roll up with the bonus. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Ted. Which of the following songs associated with Billie Holiday did she not write? Would that have been A, God Bless the Child, B, Don't Explain, C, Solitude, D, Fine and Mellow, or E, No Regrets? Which of those tunes did Billie Holiday not write from her repertoire?
Well, I've been so chatty. I'm just going to give a very brief answer. Solitude is the one she didn't write. It was by Duke Ellington.
That's your answer, Solitude?
It's my answer, yes.
All right. Well, indeed, that is correct. And let's say that was a bit of a trick question, because there were actually two correct answers to that question. The other correct answer would have been E, No Regrets, which was written by Tom Rush. But you got that right, Solitude.
Did Tom Rush write the lyrics or the music?
Tom Rush wrote the whole song.
Wrote the whole song? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Nicole, one of the many musicians known as Sonny in jazz, pianist Sonny Clark, was born with which first name? Was Sonny Clark born A, Percival, B, Huey, C, Francis, D, Conrad, or E, Nicholas?
Sonny Clark's first name. I'm trying to think if I was multiple choice has never been my strong suit because I believe in magic and I assume that everything is possible. So, how would I know this? Sonny Clark. Percival, Huey, Francis, Conrad, Nicholas. How would I know this by being a jazz discographer and historian? Sonny Clark's first name is Francis, Conrad, Nicholas, Huey, or Percival. Gosh, I have no clue. I have no idea. I should know this. I'm so sorry.
Take a stab.
Sonny Clark, Conrad Clark, Francis Clark, Nicholas Clark, Huey Clark. Percy Clark? No, he would have been Percy. Huey already sounds like a Y, so he already has a Sonny. Francis. Oh, God, I guess it could be his middle name. Sonny Francis Clark, Sonny Conrad, Sonny Nicholas. I don't know. Why would he have a nickname? Because he doesn't like his first name. So is it Percival?
That could be it.
Is it Percival A? No, I don't know. A.
Percival?
A? Yeah.
That is correct.
That was mean. That was cold.
I appreciated your process of elimination, though, Nicole. So I gave you a hand for that.
Thank you, my love.
Yeah.
Sonny Clark was born D. Conrad Clark. And
That's actually my second guess. I don't know why.
You had it on the tip of your tongue.
I was thinking that.
It was Conrad was the correct answer.
Oh, I wasn't going to get a chance to answer that?
Huh?
I thought, was I supposed to have a shot at that one? After
Yes, you were, but now I get the points because he answered for me out of pity.
Actually, I'll tell you what, if I get the middle name, can you give me the point?
Yeah, what's the middle name?
It's Conrad Yeatis Clark, Yeatis.
Wow.
Leatis. All right.
Yeatis.
Yeatis.
Yeah, why?
Oh, no wonder he became Sonny.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Ted.
Interesting.
Ted, which of the
Well, you can double check that. You can take away the point, or the producers can double check, and they can Google it while we're here. Then you can give me the big. Anyway, all right.
Which following tunes was written by both Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie? Would that have been A, Groovin' High, B, Coco, C, Bebop, D, Donna Lee, or E, Anthropology?
Is this question for me or for Nicole?
For you.
Oh, it's for me. I'm sorry. That's why I wasn't saying anything. I was my attention was wandering. Okay, this is a bit of a tricky question for me. Groovin' High and Bebop are very commonly associated with Dizzy Gillespie. He wrote them in the mid-'40s, and he recorded them with Charlie Parker. Coco is Charlie Parker's contrafact of Cherokee, which revolutionized the music, when they put it out in 45. Donna Lee, did Bird or John? It wasn't Dizzy who wrote it, but I think it's Bird's Line. It is Bird's Line, and he recorded it in 1947 on a date with John Lewis. So I guess it has to be Anthropology, which I've seen co-credited, although I've heard the changes were Dizzy's. And maybe I'm wrong about that. It's another one from the mid-'40s. But I think the copyright at least has Parker and Gillespie. And, who knows who contributed what to what. So sometimes it's just a matter of copyright. So I'm going to say E, Anthropology.
That is correct. It was Anthropology, on which Dizzy Gillespie and Charlie Parker teamed up to write. So, Nicole, you're up next. Nicole, which of the following musicians was not on a cover of Time magazine? I'll repeat that. Which of the following great musicians was not on a cover of Time magazine? Would that have been A, Louis Armstrong, B, Billie Holiday, C, Dave Brubeck, D, Duke Ellington, or E, Thelonious Monk?
Well, my Time magazine subscription expired. And so I'm sorry. I am notorious for being terrible at facts or history, or but if I was to talk this out with my uneducated guesses, which is what tends to be happening, I feel like, oh God, see, whatever I say will be offensive to them posthumously. So I feel like all of them are iconic and deserve to be on the cover. So, but I don't even know when Time magazine has been around for a minute. So the question is, if it's a trick question, is it because of how old they are? Or is it,
no tricks here.
No tricks.
No.
I don't know. You my heart soared when you gave me the clap. How does one study for this? For the next time. Okay.
One does not.
One does not. I feel like
a lifetime of obsession.
Okay, good. So the good news is that I actually knew the songwriter music questions. It's just these things I'm having a hard time. So Louis Armstrong is a yes, because he had to have been. Otherwise, why even have a Time magazine? Billie Holiday, sure, I can just see her beautiful face on it. I don't know, Dave Brubeck. I feel like Monk is the only one that they wouldn't have put, because how could they be that hip to know that? But maybe I'm completely wrong. So my guess is Thelonious Monk. Sorry. I'm so bad at this.
Ted, we'll give you the opportunity to steal this point. You ready, Ted?
I'm an honest guy, but I'll...
Ted, which of the following musicians was not, or shall we say, did not appear on a cover of Time magazine? Would that have been A, Louis Armstrong, B, Billie Holiday, C, Dave Brubeck, D, Duke Ellington, and E, Thelonious Monk has been eliminated.
This is one of these. This is one of these factoids that I could never quite internalize who it was, because I've seen this a number of times. Monk, by the way, had he was supposed to be on the cover the day John F. Kennedy got killed. So he got pulled off, but then he got put back on a few months later. I know Brubeck was on the cover, which was a point of controversy because he was on the cover before Armstrong and Ellington were, and that I think properly raised hackles, although what Brubeck did also was great. But Time was a mass market thing, and I guess it reflected Brubeck's who Brubeck was appealing to during those years and he was great. That's not anything against him. I'm going to say, and since I don't know, I'm pretty sure Louis Armstrong was on it, but I don't entirely know. I don't think there was any scandal about. Ricky Riccardi can throw a dart at me from Queens. I'm going to say it was Billie Holiday. Mainly because of the various, tabloid stuff that framed her personality. But I don't have confidence in that one. So, but I'll go with B, Billie Holiday.
Something says,
I'm almost sorry to be right about that because
Me too.
Because the thing that you think about is the gender perspective.
Well, there's the gender, and her well publicized problems with heroin and the tabloid stuff. I might have kept time. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know what it was. Maybe
the correct answer was indeed B. Billie Holiday did not appear on the cover of Time magazine. And actually, Louis Armstrong was first.
He was first. What year was it?
Yeah, I don't recall the year, but he came before.
I'll look it up.
He came before Brubeck.
Okay.
All right, Nicole. This is a very forgiving game that we call Jazzology, because the person who is behind at the end of the 10 questions has an opportunity to catch up by correctly responding to our bonus question. So, Nicole, here is our bonus question for a chance for you to tie Ted Panken. Nicole, Red Garland was the piano player on which of the following John Coltrane recordings?
My dog.
Would that have been A, Two Tenors, B, Bahia, C, Giant Steps, D, the PC Blues, or E, Groovy?
My dog just came to visit. I think.
Can we see him?
Come here, honey. Come.
Oh.
Feels my anxiety.
Oh, that's sweet. I just had to put two of my dogs down 2 months ago.
I know. Yeah, she's our foster dog. So you feel that I'm stressed, but I feel like I should know this because
She'll give you energy.
Yes. Okay, let's see. So Red Garland was the piano player. What do you think, sweetheart? I don't know. Is this a forgiving question because you want me to catch up? Okay.
You tell me.
Okay. She's gonna go down. Okay, go.
It's a degree of difficulty on the question.
Go. Red Garland was the piano player on which of John Coltrane's recordings?
Was it A, Two Tenors, B, Bahia, C, Giant Steps, D, the PC Blues, or E, Groovy?
I'm not good at this. Can I go home? Just kidding. B, Bahia.
That's a big yep.
Oh, thank God.
and you have
come back over here. Come back over here.
She hit 2 4-point plays with less than 5 seconds on the clock.
Bring your good luck charm back onto the screen here, because indeed, Harlem was the piano player on the John Coltrane recording known as B, Bahia.
She's getting a big treat.
I'm sorry, Ted. This is just, and 1111 is my favorite number, so I'll just take it. Actually, I'm going to pay you guys $200 each. I can leave.
All right, so we go to sudden death. And the leader at the end of regulation goes first, and that would be Ted Panken. Ted Panken, who was the bass player on Randy Weston's debut recording titled Trio on the Riverside label? Would that have been A, Jamil Nasser, B, Sam Gill, C, George Duvivier, D, Ron Carter, or E, Ahmed Abdul Malik?
Well, Jamil Nasser was then was still working in Memphis when Maestro Weston made that record. Was it 54? I think it was 54. Maybe it was 56, but I think. Anyway, Ron Carter was 54. I think he was in his first year at Eastman, if that was the year. If it was 56, he would have been in Rochester. George Duvivier was a session bassist, but he wasn't. I don't think he was playing in Randy Weston's early trios. Ahmed Abdul Malik performed a lot with Randy Weston, particularly later in the 50s, but I don't know. I don't think he was on that first trio date. I think the bassist was Sam Gill, B.
That is correct.
That's what I thought.
And only a person who has made a deep dive into jazz lore would know the question.
It's not that. It's that you write about people, you investigate their discographies.
I say that because when I worked on Randy Weston's book, Sam Gill was one of the first persons that he asked me to interview because he made that debut recording. But the key there is that Sam Gill went on to a long career as the principal bassist in the Denver Symphony Orchestra. So
I did not know that.
Yes, so he actually evolved to more orchestral music. Okay. And so that was why that made him kind of a wild card among these bass players. But you are correct. Sam Gill.
That's interesting because Ron Carter, had he had the opportunity, might have also had a career in classical music, as was his intention.
Two of those other artists, two of those other possible answers, George Duvivier and Ron Carter, were both playing on and recorded Randy Weston's opus Uhuru Africa.
Right.
And so they and you know the key, I guess, to all that is all those bass players worked with Randy Weston.
Right.
But
I had thought that Charles Burrell would have been the person in Denver who is Diane Reeves' uncle, I believe. And knew Cedar Walton in Denver
right.
in the 50s.
Sam Gill.
I had heard he played classical music in Denver. Well, thank you, Willard. I learned a lot from this.
Congratulations to Ted Panken on winning our 70th episode of Jazzology. So much to Nicole Zuraitis for being a great contestant. Thank you so much for being such a cheerful.
It was great to meet you, Nicole. I love the way you thought about this stuff.
Sometimes when people get flummoxed, they're not so cheerful as you are. So we do appreciate the good cheer. And thank you so much to Ted Panken and Nicole Zuraitis. Thanks for winning our 70th episode of Jazzology. We encourage everyone to try your hand and play Jazzology. And if anyone watching would like to become a contestant on Jazzology, click the link below and simply fill out the form. You must be 18 years old or older, and be sure to follow us on social media at Jazzology Trivia Show to get all the latest news and updates. Thanks so much to Nicole and Ted and to everyone who joined us for our 70th episode of Jazzology today. Remember, you can check out Jazzology every other Friday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you missed the show live, you can find the archive on the Savage Content YouTube channel.
Yay!
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Willard.
Thanks, Ted. That was a blast.